Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you have pen and paper because I'm going to explain to you something that you weren't aware of.
If you're not already impressed by me, you should. I mean, I'm
all right. Welcome to another episode of Tinfoil Radio from the underground, undisclosed bunker.
It's both uns.
Yes, all the uns, uncut,
unsupervised, unsalted,
unsettling. Anyway, we're going to be talking about Alex
unapologetic.
Jones.
Alex Jones, Part 2.
Part 2, Dawn of the InfoWar. We are going to be diving into a good chunk of his career.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know that Dawn of the what is it again? Dawn of the InfoWar?
Yeah.
Okay, I know that you mean like DAWN, like, the Dawn, right?
Yeah.
But honestly...
You thinking of Donald Trump?
No, I was thinking
Dawn.
DON as in like mobster Don.
Oh.
Type of like a position in the mob, like a Don.
No.
And to be honest, the reason why you said it just a certain way, and in my mind's eye, I saw DON, and I'm like, that's cool. But I know it's, the Don.
Oh, well, now you made me sound like an idiot.
Well,
that's a much better, cooler explanation.
Wait, I'm doing that?
Yeah, no. Anyway, this...
Cackle.
This is part 2 of a 3-part series on Alex, and...
probably be 4 parts. Let's be honest.
It might end up being 4 parts. It depends, because there's one specific event that I'm not going to cover in this episode that might even be its own episode. I'm still working out the ideas on that. So, for the time being, this is part 2 of 3.
I'm just along for the ride, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. This is all me.
And I'm also trying to, derail the car. I think we tell them last week that you're, the conductor of the show, and I'm, the drunk idiot who's like, how fucking fast can this thing go, man?
Yeah.
So...
that's why
we know our roles. We know our roles.
I'd rather have somebody like you who doesn't know anything about Alex Jones, because I'm sure I've annoyed all my friends.
Understanding.
Anyway, yeah, understanding is another
That's a recurring theme this week, by the way.
Unbelievable.
Get ready.
Yeah, you're gonna bury this. You're gonna bury this joke. Can we start the show now?
Yes.
All right. So last episode we focused on the very early days of Alex's career, mostly in public access in Austin. This week's episode is going to focus on the Alex Jones that most people know, the screaming lunatic that runs InfoWars. This episode is going to be a doozy, so strap in. The early days of InfoWars. So after Alex was fired from his last hosting show... I read that wrong.
Hosting gig?
His last hosting gig in Austin.
Uh-huh.
His show,
and we talked about that last week.
Yeah,
Final edition. Final edition.
Yeah.
Which, dear God, that would have been cool if it really, literally was the final edition.
Which I think Bill Cooper has a better radio show name. His was The Hour of Our Time.
Is Bill Cooper a right-wing net?
He's more in the center. We'll cover him later. He is without Bill Cooper, there is no Alex Jones.
Thanks, Bill.
And Bill Cooper hated Alex Jones.
What?
But Bill Cooper, that's a crazy story. That's its own thing. So he decided to go into business for himself after losing his job, and with a lot of help from his rich dentist dad.
I pulled myself up by my own bootstraps.
And by that I mean my dad paid for it. Had a big zebra steak.
Hey, Jake, do you think you and I, separately, obviously,
by the way,
had different upbringings, but do you think you and I would have a better shot at success if we had been born to rich parents?
Yeah.
Yeah, you think?
So. I think I got a leg up in there.
I think that maybe it would have given me that little bit of nudge that a white middle class kid like me from the suburbs, nobody gave me a chance growing up in America. But that extra, million, 5 million, 10 million that my parents could have had.
Well, yeah, you don't have
that would have given me that extra edge over the other white kids.
You don't have to work as hard and be good if you're rich.
Uh-huh.
So us poor
Which sucks
people-
because I'm really good. You and me are really, really good at what we
well, we're okay.
do. You've never seen me. Well,
You never seen me, bucko.
you never see me jam.
I'm surprised Jesse hasn't called us because we're kind of making fun of one of his friends. So
Are they friends?
they've Jesse Ventura could be his own episode on of profiles because he
Profiles in courage and stupidity. No.
profiles and conspiracy.
Profiles. Yeah. No. Anyway.
So yeah, they've been on each other's shows.
Bucko.
InfoWars was founded in 1999, thus starting the Alex Jones Show. Alex began broadcasting the show from his home in Austin, which, I mean, despite being a piece of shit, it's kind of inspiring to think that he started in his home and then has the big set that he does now. I think how he got his money was shitty and dirty-handed because he's a con man, but I will say it's still, you gotta, for someone who does broadcasting, I do kind of respect the hustle. I think he has no integrity.
Yeah, I don't got the hustle.
I think he's a total horrible human being. But I got to respect the hustle to scam people to make yourself look credible, even though everything, and you will find out in this
could see
episode,
you-
everything he
yeah.
says is terrible.
See, like,
It's
I could see
stupid.
you having the hustle and everything, and, like, if you need me to show up to, like, some sort of, stockholders meeting or something, to help sell the show or something, like, I would do that, but I would mostly just kind of stand there and be like, hey, like, I don't have the hustle. So if this is ever going to be successful, it's kind of on you.
Oh, believe me, I know.
Whoa. Are you saying I do a shitty job on this show?
I'm just saying you should, you know what?
Because you're right.
One of these days you need to do the research.
Well, okay, I can.
I actually enjoy doing the research. It's
Okay.
fun.
Well, see, the one I thought I made up for it with making my own.
No, those were great episodes. That was fun.
You-
Why are we having a job review in the middle of our Alex? You really
Conversation.
don't want to talk about Alex Jones.
I just don't get him.
Oh, buddy, you're gonna really not get
Pal,
him after
bucko.
this. Listen here, pal. So in early 2000, not much longer after founding InfoWars, Alex decided to run as a Republican state representative.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I will not make the frogs gay. Write me in.
Can I ask you something? Like, just
Yeah.
kind of because you brought it up a little bit. When
We'll be talking about
when
that.
was the frogs gay thing? And like,
That was, I think, I want to say like 2015, 2016.
was it in reference to anything real? Like that he was just being, like, hey, there was a
we'll
hurricane,
get-
and then he was like, it's making the.
We'll
Okay.
get there. We'll get there.
Damn it!
We're going to cover it. We're going to cover it.
I suppose I could use that Google machine thingy.
So but he dropped his reasoning for running for state representative. He said his reasoning was to be a watchdog on the inside, so I know when they're doing the fluoride stuff, and I can stop it from the inside. That's his pitch. So yeah,
Did he,
a good portion of this episode is going to be me doing an Alex.
What year was that again?
2000.
I would assume for Texas.
Yes.
Okay.
He probably could have won, to be honest.
So why didn't he?
I think he's just too lazy. Alex is
So he ran a campaign, and then
Alex is just a good con man. He's not a good
he doesn't follow through.
personality. Nobody really likes him. You know,
How do you get married and have kids?
it's a great question because there's a whole thing with that.
There's
He dropped out after just a few weeks, so he didn't last that long before he said, "No, this isn't worth it." So I'm telling. It's the thing is, it's much easier for him.
if you had
to-
seen The Wire, you would know that that's true. Like literally, that's like almost a 20-hour, 7-day-a-week job trying to get elected to anything.
No, yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
It costs way too much money. But Alex is also the guy who doesn't read headlines, or doesn't read past headlines, I should say. And he's not good at what he does. He doesn't do any real research. He just gets his stuff from like Reddit and 4chan.
I feel like this is a
8chan,
thinly
Stormfront.
veiled attack on me. Like you don't do your research. Like
It's not,
hey,
no, it's
whoa.
not. It's not an attack on you. I'm saying there's no way he could
We
actually.
we'll talk.
There's no way he could actually be a legitimate politician. Because say what you will about politics, and there are a ton of horrible people in politics that want power. That's just what it is. That's what it always will be. But they have to work hard at being that big of a piece of
Yeah.
shit. They got to work hard at that.
Every time I think
Alex
about
does.
trying to do it myself, I'm like, I wouldn't have the patience.
Right.
The first time, like, somebody, like,
It's not an easy job to
the
be a
first time
politician.
some constituent, like, while I was trying to run, said something really stupid to me, I wouldn't be able to do the pragmatic thing that a politician could do, which would be like, yeah, sure, we'll work on that. I'd be like, no, you fucking moron, and then it'd be over.
I'd be the same way.
Or I'd get elected president. These days.
But that's the kind of guy Alex would be, and that just wouldn't work. It wouldn't fly. He would just be annoying, and yeah, and I would be the same way.
Yeah,
I've told Ashley that. I said I've always thought
I would
about
love to help change things like
running
that.
for office or
Yeah.
doing, but I couldn't handle it because I would slip up in a press conference and tell every people that voted for me, you're fucking idiots.
I'd be on the
and you need to
floor.
listen to me.
Right, I'd be on the floor like arguing something like that is clearly obvious, like, school lunches or something.
You gotta work.
Funding for school lunches or something. And some dickhead Republican would be like blah blah blah, and I'd be like, fuck you, and then that would be done because
you're an honest, normal person, not a politician.
That's not professional, and that's not allowed or something.
You got to be to be a politician.
You have to be pragmatic, and I ain't.
You also have to be like somewhat of a sociopath. I think only crazy people would want to work in the government.
But I'd kind of have to work at being a sociopath.
You know how ungrateful we are as a people.
Damn right. Okay,
Bohemian Grove is his first. So
so he stops with the state representative.
He drops out of that. And that's just kind of laying the groundwork for. That's just where he started, and everything else is going to kind of jump around in time. But these are mostly just going to be highlights of some of his dumbest, I think some of his best but dumbest conspiracies.
So it's a non-linear.
We're talking about fucking.
This is going to be non-linear.
It jumps
right?
around.
Okay.
We're talking about Bohemian Grove.
But by the end of it, we'll understand a lot, right?
We're talking weather weapons, chemtrails, gay frogs.
We were just talking about Quentin Tarantino movies, and I was like, that's really interesting that you just made a Quentin Tarantino rundown.
So anyway.
At the end of it, you'll get it, man. You'll get it. Just follow along, man.
It's not linear, dude. It's artistic.
It's not linear, dude. The front, the beginning is going to be part of the end.
I got to say, I'm glad he cut that out after Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Because if he kept doing that with every movie, it wouldn't be unique. It wouldn't be cool.
I don't mind.
I mean, I still love Reservoir Dogs. But anyway.
Yeah.
Here's his first conspiracy, his first big one. He was only on the air for, I want to say a couple months. It's July 15th, 2000.
Yeah.
He infiltrates the I can't talk tonight.
Wow.
Cremation of Care. So Cremation of Care is an annual theatrical production written, produced, and performed by and for members of the Bohemian Club. And it's staged at the Bohemian Grove near Monte Rio, California.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of this
small artificial lake amid a private old-growth grove of redwood trees.
And this giant fucking owl statue, which is creepy.
Yes, this giant owl, but it's a beautiful setting. It looks beautiful, I think. But yeah, it is kind of weird to have. It's like
I've seen videos
it's
of
like the Mustang with the Denver International Airport.
I've seen videos of like the rituals. Well, not the rituals, but like the parties that they have like around the owl, and they wear like hooded robes and shit. And these are the leaders of the free world, by the way.
I love that you thought of this.
They're fucking creepy.
So he infiltrated Bohemian Grove.
Just want to let you know that.
Alex infiltrated Bohemian Grove.
Awesome.
With a film crew to prove the owl statue there was actually Moloch, a biblical name of a Canaanite god. Canaanite god. I was wondering about that. God associated with the child sacrifice through fire or war. This was the main thesis for
also a character in DC's The Watchmen.
Yeah. Moloch.
Oh, Moloch. Yep.
I love Watchmen. We could do a whole thing about
Oh,
Watchmen.
boy.
Anyway, this was the main thesis for his, quote, documentary, Dark Secrets Inside Bohemian Grove. Heavy air quotes. Now, I found the full movie online.
You know what's really fucked up is that this friend of mine showed me that stuff.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't, because it was after like 2005.
So it might have been Alex's movie.
It wouldn't surprise. Well, let's see. Yeah. I mean, the timing could work. That's fucked up. Wow.
Anyway, I was going to play a clip here of the final thing, but the footage is so bad. You couldn't. I mean, you can make out what's happening, but it's not good.
You could make out, or
Plus,
you could just give him a handshake.
I couldn't. I was trying to get a
pat on the back.
smaller clip because the only thing I could find was the full movie. I couldn't find any clips of it. So here's this next conspiracy. The government is using weather weapons. I cannot read my script tonight. So this is huge, Tyler. Did you know that Alex has the lowdown on the truth about our crazy weather over the last few years?
No.
Simple. The government has weather weapons. That's right. Alex claimed that the government had this. The government had the high frequency active oral research.
High frequency.
Or HARP for short. Here's how they're controlling the weather.
Wait, oral? What?
Like AU, like.
Let me see it here.
Kind of like oral, like in your mouth.
Wait, what? No, go ahead and talk, but I just.
No, I need my script.
No, are you kidding me? Auroral.
Auroral? What?
Auroral.
It did sound like I said oral.
Well, you choose all these words.
I don't know why I don't just let you.
Sound like words.
I need you to just read the script.
Auroral? That.
Because I can't read aloud.
Flippity flappity flip. You know what I mean? That's not even a word.
So anyway, this is around the time he's talking about chemtrails, which
what is? Yeah,
we're not gonna go. I can't go in depth.
I just want to know, like, do people consider it mind control shit,
So,
or like what is it?
What chemtrails are?
It's bad, apparently.
Chemtrails. His theory is that when you see a plane and you see jet streams, he's saying that it is actually these trails of different chemicals that they're dropping on our surface of the earth or whatever to just poison us, essentially.
Well,
and there's different things.
Alex, you're right, but it's not jet trails that are dropped. It's the shit that everything is poisoning us right now. So it's
especially
not just
now
one thing.
When we're recording in the middle of a pandemic. The weather decides to have tornadoes and snow and thunderstorms. Like, our planet is trying very hard to kill us right now.
Maybe it's tired
he's
of
not.
us.
Maybe it's the chemtrails.
Maybe Gaia is sick of us.
Get that nerd shit out of here. So now I want to play
Druid
something
shit, yo.
from the YouTube channel Cafe, because I didn't really want to go fully in depth on chemtrails. And like I said, that's the most basic thing I can explain to you is he thinks that these trails in the sky from planes are not just what normally comes out of a plane.
Okay,
it's
that's fair.
Fluoride.
That's a fair. What's the word?
Synopsis
of what chemtrails are. Are we actually playing something about the chemtrails?
Yes, and it's wonderful. So yeah, this is for the YouTube channel Cafe. Don't remember. I think it was like 2017 or something. But this is just wonderful, and this is all I'm going to talk about when I talk about chemtrails with Alex Jones. Okay? Yeah. You ready, dude?
Son of a bitch! Listen, you asshole.
Race cars, lasers, aeroplanes. It's a
gay bomb.
Might solve a mystery or rewrite history.
Chemtrails. Resistance to tyrants is obedience to God. Chemtrails. Gay bomb.
Yep, that's it.
Chemtrails.
It's DuckTales theme song.
They got stuff that are freaking God's gay. Then again, you say, freaking God's gay. Gay bomb. It's a gay bomb, baby. Chemtrails.
He's really got a thing against the gay things.
Yeah, his thing is always race and homophobia and all that stuff. So that's the most I'm going to dedicate to chemtrails, and I knew you would enjoy that.
Can I just say, like, I mean, I've been around the block long enough. I'm almost in my mid-40s, and to know that when somebody is that against, like, gayness, chances are pretty good that that person is gay. And there's nothing wrong with that.
I don't know if he is. I just think he's homophobic. I really
don't want to downplay.
I know
any of my friends who are in the LGBTQ community.
So let's get on to.
But guys like that who are like super macho, like Alex Jones, would really hate it if you said that.
So back to.
Which is why I like saying it.
The government is using weather weapons.
So the HARP.
Yes, HARP, high frequency active auroral
Oh.
research
It just sounds like you just forgot
program.
to swallow.
So the reasoning he had behind this,
Borealis.
because where he really pushed this a lot, was around the time of Hurricane Sandy. So the reasoning behind it is I cannot talk tonight. The reason behind this is to kill people, to test out FEMA concentration camps. Remember that whole narrative? Because Alex wasn't the only one pushing
Except for they're
it.
in Texas and they're for immigrant children.
No. Here's the thing. Alex wasn't the only one pushing that. FEMA concentration camps.
He wasn't? Or he
No,
was?
he wasn't, because Glenn Beck was too. They both were saying
They're the
different
same
versions
guys
of it.
who convinced poor schmucks not to want health care because of death. What is it? Death squads or something like that.
Death
like,
squads with Obamacare.
No, it's like the committees.
Glenn Beck will be his own episode.
Yeah,
So
just ridiculous shit.
His theory was that the government could create events like Hurricane Sandy, like big tragedies, and they could do that to kill people, to put them in FEMA concentration camps. And he used things like Hurricane Sandy, and that's kind of his way to try to... It's the conspiracy theorist, idiotic far-right theory of climate change, is what it kind of is, if you think about it. And
There's no way that the weather on the earth could be changing.
It has to be the government controlling
somebody
it.
has to be doing it, and I don't believe in God or so. I don't.
But here's the thing about this. This was after the stuff with Hurricane Katrina, when we noticed how bad things can get for FEMA, because they're understaffed, they're underutilized, and so this guy is thinking that they can coordinate this stuff. No, that's not just how it can work. And I'm not trying to bash FEMA. I'm just saying they're not somebody that could pull something off like this. They are good people. They're good people.
Their annual budget is like $200.
I honestly think they are people in the government. There are people in the government that do their best, and I think the CDC, I think FEMA.
Most of these people that we were talking about are appointed and not elected, though.
Yes, because they're smart, scientific
Almost
individuals.
every single good person in government was appointed by somebody who was elected. So they got that going right.
Look, FEMA makes their mistakes. FEMA has had problems, but overall, I think there are good people in that group. Them, the before
sure, and no,
before Trump, I'd say the EPA.
I'm saying the joke about like the annual budget is like $200 is like that's totally true. Like I mean, when you look at how long Katrina took.
No, the government doesn't care about that.
Yeah, they don't care about FEMA.
So Alex thinks that FEMA can do all that. So now I got some facts for you.
Right, dude, they can barely afford like a trailer for like a family during a giant hurricane. Like, can we get one of those? Yeah, no, listen.
No, I mean,
I
just
sent the requisition forms in triplicate already. I just want one.
Look at any natural disaster that happens, and you see how bad it is for FEMA.
We had to give $1 million to this military contractor, FEMA. We're really sorry you can't have. We do have some tents that we're shipping to you, though. Good luck.
Oh, yeah, totally.
The hurricane's still going on, and it's still like, what?
Totally forgot that Puerto Rico still doesn't have power. We're sorry.
Shit. Flint, fucking Michigan still has fucking horrible water. There you go.
There you
All
go.
right. I mean,
Anyway,
we want to go that
so
route.
here are some facts
We're not.
about this, other than the obvious things here. The government is not like Storm from the X-Men.
No.
They can't control the weather, and what it does, it's one of the more complex sciences on the planet. I think it's the only science that we can't really manipulate. And
I don't think it would be possible. That's like
I don't think there's any way.
That's like trying to say that you can change like the nature of oxygen.
The only
water.
The only way I could think of this was fucking Man of Steel. If like they build this giant terraforming drill to like hollow it out and things like that, that I think would be the only way in my weird sci-fi brain that you could alter the weather or just the DNA of a planet. You can't.
I don't think you could without having some sort of control over the moon.
Right, because the moon controls the tides.
If
And there's just so many pieces of science that are moving here that you don't have a say in it, and I don't think you can.
There's a
control
magnetic there's a magnetic thing happening from the moon alone, and not even to mention all the magnetic shit. The sun,
how magnified our planet is.
Yeah, I mean we're literally technically we're inside the sun. I mean, if you look at you take the corona as like the absolute outside of the sun, then like it extends like tens and hundreds of millions of miles past like Pluto.
Yeah, we're like a bug on the windshield, man. And that's the crazy thing. Is it's
So
a
there's
giant,
so many outside
we're
things.
being-
If we had a machine on the planet, we would have to still also be able to like physically
Yeah.
move the sun and moon.
Yeah, because the only way
What's
our
a-
planet can work is its rotation around
Right.
the sun and the
And
rotation.
control the rotation
Right.
somehow.
It'd be like
Nah.
Superman when he spins the Earth in the other direction. But that's another thing to think about
It scared
too.
the shit out of me when I was a little kid. When he got all mad, scared.
We're literally orbiting a thing that gives us radiation, which is crazy to think
Which is
about.
heat, energy.
Yeah, but
we
it's
could-
also radiation.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Mostly radiation.
Good and bad.
It's a giant ball of energy. I mean, so there's no way. Like I said, there's too much at stake. There's the moon. That's just not how planets work.
It'd be so cool, but like, yeah, even Storm from like the X-Men is kind of ridiculous because there's
I think at if they could manipulate the
But
weather,
that's when-
why wouldn't they make every place warmer?
But just like Storm from the X-Men, when you start like looking at it too hard because it's fictional.
Right.
So did you see where I did right there?
Yeah, you're right.
See, if you start looking at it too hard, you're like, well, why does Storm? Does Storm
You can
somehow? Does her
easily-
mutant power?
You could drive a truck.
influence the sun and the moon. You know, like then it's just ridiculous and it's not fun or entertaining anymore.
You're gonna find out. You could drive a truck through these conspiracy theories that Alex gives because they're just so glaringly
That's why
obvious.
people just fucking eat that shit up because they're
Yeah.
so dumb.
like we were talking about.
when they start critical thinking, like you and I,
yeah.
they go, "That's fucking stupid," because duh.
Well, like
But none of
when we-
them
when
is
we
audience.
did our coronavirus episode.
Yeah.
When we talked about how it's a bioweapon that the Chinese created to hurt our economy. If you think for 1 second about, they're a trading partner. We rely on each other's economy.
It started in
It's
China.
a global thing.
Don't you think if they were trying to hurt our economy, that they would have started it in the U.S.?
So you're right. Any sort of critical
exactly.
thinking
Yeah,
in
you
these
start-
theories. Will,
Yeah, you start following, you start unraveling one thread, the whole goddamn sweater
so
falls apart.
Let's get to the big enchilada.
Oh boy,
This is the
is
conspiracy.
it a real enchilada? Because I'm kind of hungry.
He does say that a lot. He does say,
Oh.
this is the big enchilada.
Oh Jesus,
So this is the big enchilada, folks.
I don't really like
hold on,
enchiladas.
Hold on. This is the enchilada. This is the conspiracy that attracted a lot of people to Alex, myself included. Many of us saw this clip, and you're going to love this, Tyler.
If you're a new listener, just type in Pentagon tested gay bomb on Iraq. They didn't consider using it. They've used it on our troops in Vietnam.
So you
They
think there's a
sprayed
gay
PCP
bomb?
on the troops. Jacob's
Spraying
ladder.
on each other.
You think PCP, some horse tranquilizer, something? They got stuff that'll whack your brain permanently. Brain chips in the troops. They give the troops special vaccines that are really nanotech that already re-engineer their brains.
Hold on. Don't get ready. Don't get angry yet.
Now, there it is, the gay bomb. Look it up for yourself. I mean, this is what they're... What do you think tap water is? It's a gay bomb, baby. And I'm not saying people didn't naturally have homosexual feelings. I'm not even getting into it, quite frankly. I mean, give me a break. You think I am like, shocked by it, so I'm up here bashing it because I don't like gay people? I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Serious crap. I'm sick of being social engineered. It's not funny.
So that's
it's actually hilarious. If you didn't see how like if you didn't know how serious he really thinks he is and how
Right,
seriously
right.
he actually influences a lot of people, like to the point of being dangerous, like it would be funny as shit, and it still kind of is. But then when you realize the kind of influence he has on like actual real world people and things, you're like, that's really bad that he has any sort of platform at like
Right.
that just whole thing. Like tap water is a gay bomb. Listen to what he said. And that makes no sense.
No.
And then he talked about how he does like gay people. It's not that he doesn't like gay people. It's that he doesn't like them put goddamn chemicals in the water. It makes frogs gay. And it's like,
yeah.
you really don't know what reality is.
He really doesn't, and he also has
Which is also scary. That
Zero
he may
zero
have mental-
self-awareness,
Yeah,
man.
he might have
None.
like some mental.
he's got serious narcissism problems, and he can't take
Once
responsibility
again,
for his
yeah,
own actions.
yeah.
It's what we said last week.
Once again, as I suffer mental illness myself, depression, anxiety, whatever. Like, I have, it's okay that I, kind of am making fun of him.
Yeah.
Just saying,
You're a reformed alcoholic. You can pick
bleeding,
on
if
him.
there's any bleeding heart liberals that are listening and like, oh, well, that's not real nice because she's got a mental. Like, shut up. So do I. It's cool.
We're all crazy.
It's like bald dudes making jokes about bald dudes. I can do it. You can't, Jake.
I gotcha.
Yeah, you got hair.
All right. So that was in 2015, the gay bomb, the gay frogs rant, which of all things to get scrubbed from YouTube, the one that hurts the most to me was that stupid clip. But don't worry, people, you can still. It's harder to find, but you can find Alex Jones videos on YouTube, and I'm so glad somebody still had this up because you're right. It is a funny segment, and it's fun to laugh at. But you're right, when you unravel things and you find out that he actually spoke to the future president of the United States, it can get pretty scary. But if you look at through my lens, my whole thing is, I never once have I thought of him more than a clown. And it is unfortunate that he has inspired some people, but Alex, to me, has always been a fucking moron. So when I laugh at him, it is pure mockery. It is never like, oh man, he might, he's just being crazy old Alex. No, most of the time I'm like, this guy has serious problems because he's a fucking lunatic. But I'm going to laugh at him because he deserves my mockery because of the way he treats people. If he would own up to just one thing that wasn't court mandated.
No shit.
When he actually did it from his own conscience,
Which won't happen.
I would say, good job. You did something right. Because at the end of the day, I always want to root for people. I don't want to hate people.
And the thing is, when he was going through, nobody wants to have their, family business and their dirty laundry aired out and stuff, and I understand that. But when he was going through his divorce settlement, he tried to mitigate what I think the evidence showed that he was abusive, like physically abusive and everything or something, I'm not sure. But the point is that he tried to mitigate something with the child custody hearing to say that he played a character on InfoWars. That he was trying to say that he was. And then when if you tuned in last week, which still available wherever you get your podcasts.
Thumbs up.
Ding.
Well, hey, you're at home. What better way than to binge all our
and just listen to the first. Okay. But if you listened last week, we talked about how he started out and what kind of person, and even before he was big, people who knew him knew that that's who he is.
No, yeah, this is not
it's not an act, and that's why. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, look it up. But I'm pretty sure the judge threw out his argument that's stupid.
Yeah.
We've seen you in court, and you're an idiot.
Yeah.
So
I got riled up. I had a big
right there is
zebra
also
steak.
another thing is that we know that it's not an act because
and we'll really dive.
That's
into
also kind of that's
we're
creepy.
really gonna dive into that.
Oh
in
yeah,
later episodes.
rabbit holes. Here we come.
So
is that little turds?
This is when Alex started to build momentum after the gay bomb rant because people memed the shit out of it and put it on tons of music remixes. I mean, dude.
So he was getting finally the recognition that he wanted, but for all the wrong reasons, which he did not get.
Actually, I have a treat for you.
Ooh.
I didn't think I was going to play this, but I'm going to play this. So get ready. Because this, again, we're going to dive into some of the meme parts of Alex because when you
which
watch.
Is all of them?
Yeah, he's nothing. He is a living meme. I'll give him that.
Yeah.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Turn the friggin' frogs gay. Serious crap. Gay. Frogs, friggin' frogs. It's not funny. I'm gonna say it real slow for you. Gay. Frogs. Won't you fight for your life? Gay. Frogs, friggin' frogs. I don't like a frog. Gay. Friggin' frogs. Frogs. Friggin' frog crap. Won't you fight the frogs? It's not funny. I'm gonna say it real slow for you. Gay. Frogs.
All right, we're cutting it out. Personally, I think it's hilarious, but I didn't know that Tyler was so unfun.
It hurt my ears.
It didn't hurt your ears.
It's cacophonic, and that's the point of it.
So anyway, Alex believes.
So it did its job.
So let's get to the real
I was
issue
really irritated.
of. I could tell you were so frustrated. So we're getting to the real nitty gritty. So when we're talking about the original video, he mentions the gay bomb and he mentions gay frogs. So the basis for this theory.
Which one?
Alex believes that the government has been putting chemicals in our water to make the population gay, or at the very least, air quotes, feminize them. Yeah, it gets worse. He thinks it's a form of population control for the U.S., and this is a direct quote here. Quote, the reason there are so many gay people now is because it's a chemical warfare operation. I have the government document. Oh, you know what? I'm not reading this right. The reason there are so many gay people now is because it's a chemical warfare operation, okay? I have the government documents where they said they're going to encourage homosexuality with chemicals so people don't have children. That's a real quote. Tyler's his jaw is literally on the floor.
Let's start off with the whole you as soon as you tell me that something is making something else gay,
A sexual orientation. There's no science behind that.
or at the very least feminized, what you're effectively and offensively saying is that being gay is being like a girl. Like, that's all you're saying. You're simplifying it to the point that's offensive, honestly. Sure, some gay guys do act effeminate, but some women act more manly or whatever. I mean, that's alone, but then it just gets to the point where you're like, I already know you don't know what you're talking about.
It's silly because you can't. So here are the facts on this. So
the facts are that Alex Jones is a dick.
So let's break down the gay frogs and social engineering. Alex.
Social engineering.
Yes, that's what he's calling it. Alex is basing this claim on studies taken at University of Cal Berkeley. Mm-hmm. It mentions that frogs that have had overexposure to the chemical atrazine, A-T-R-A.
Did Brita ever
atrazine.
Sponsor his show? That would have been a great
No,
product
he did,
placement.
but he sells his own water filtration.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, they'd take the gay out.
So
because otherwise, everybody would be gay if it was in the fucking water. Asshole.
Atrazine is a widely known and used pesticide.
Mm-hmm. I can believe that.
And it was causing the frogs to actually swap genders. So it wasn't making them gay; it was just changing their gender.
Sure.
Yeah.
That actually does happen in nature.
Yes, not that uncommon. No, that's what asexual animals are. So nowhere in the study does it mention that the frogs switched their sexual orientation, because how could you? You can't ask a frog if it's gay. It's not really a thing in the animal kingdom. Exposing frogs to atrazine isn't the same as drinking water, and Alex intentionally misinterpreted the data to scare his audience because, of course, he sells filtration things.
And if you have a guy frog, okay, and then you're like, hey, are you gay? And it's like, no. First of all, let's assume it can talk. And and he's like, no, I'm not gay. And then you're like, well, did you used to be a girl frog? And he's like, well, yeah. And then you're like, isn't that the same thing? Because I listen to Alex Jones and I'm an idiot. Yeah, and I think being a girl is the same as being gay.
Yeah, it's almost like their horrible opinions on transgender people. It's the same kind of thing as what you just said.
Gay dudes don't have wonderful breasts, okay? So there's that.
And it's just being a jerk. I mean,
they have breasts, actually.
It's just another way to be mean to the LGBTQ community. That's all it is. And they love attacking those people for some reason.
It's never going to, just middle America and everything and all the people who are kind of on the fence about it, what's never going to happen is two gay guys showing up to your house, knocking on the door and going, hey, what's going on? Listen, we're gay, and I want to suck my boyfriend's dick in your living room while you try to eat dinner. That's never going to... It's never...
We're going to ransack your church and make you watch our homosexual activity. Or
Right,
something.
right.
It's like, why do people think like that? It's
Right,
crazy.
but then they get all mad because it's like, well, there's a movie about gay people at the theater, like
Oh
100
my
miles
gosh.
from your fucking house. If they're not going to actually come to your house and ruin your house, which is really where you
A
live,
same-sex couple kissed in this movie, and it's like,
and would it really ruin your house to have a couple
oh
gay
my
dads
gosh.
blowing each other?
Remember that uproar, that one dude being gay in Beauty and the Beast?
In Beauty and the Beast? Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Josh Gad's character.
It's not the guy who is in love with Gaston. I don't know his name.
Yeah, the character who Josh Gad
But
played.
those are the kind of people that would get mad that, oh, he was gay. And I was like, he's pretty feminine in the original. Like, he's clearly gay in the original.
Yeah, and enough with the whole SJW Shut up.
Yeah.
It's art
Yeah,
reflects,
well, I hate
art
that.
reflects society.
I hate
Society
that
has
whole
changed. There you
movement
go.
of get woke, go broke. And
Art
that
reflects
crap.
society. Society has changed. So that's why it's not all white people on TV, white people. Just calm the fuck down.
I know,
all right?
that's why it shouldn't matter. But we're getting
Jesus.
too political, buddy.
Of course,
Get
of
out of
course,
there.
course.
Get out of there.
No, that's common sense.
It is common sense. People just need to stop being idiots.
But
So,
yeah, frogs are
we're gonna
gay.
talk about,
That's also a problem.
the atrazine. Let's
Mhm.
move down to another chemical that he really hates, fluoride.
Yeah, he was talking a lot about that. I like fluoride because I don't brush my teeth that well.
I'm not even gonna go. I'm not even gonna go that deep into it. So I'm just gonna play this rant that I chopped up. This was a rant from May 25th, 2010.
Okay, but there's no music
whole
behind this, right?
No, the
Okay,
whole
that was
segment is a little over 10 and a half minutes long. Don't worry, I chopped it down to like 2.5. I cut because Alex likes to just ramble and go on these tangents.
I have no idea what that's like at all.
And I cut really hard at the end here. There is a segment where he's still ranting about fluoride and chemtrails, and he says now he's like, "Well, I'm a kook if I ask questions." And then he plays a clip about this character who's kind of like Alex Jones. He's a conspiracy theorist, and they call him a terrorist. So Alex thinks that they're calling him a terrorist because Alex has that much hubris. And this clip is just, if you could ever encapsulate, and I'll give him this. He is not a man that doesn't lack passion. But he doesn't have any real principles because he flip-flops all the time because it depends on who will give him money.
Mm-hmm.
So he's not genuine, but I'll give him this. He is passionate about what he does. And I don't think it's an act. I really think that thinks he's the savior to humanity. So,
if you gave Alex Jones enough money, there is a point where he would say, "I love the cock," if you paid him enough money. There's a dollar sign somewhere, a figure,
a number.
an amount. There's a number.
Because all the times he's been
I'm not
gay
saying
bashing.
I'm not saying he would actually go out and suck one. I'm just saying that on air he would say, "I love the cock."
Texas Monthly writer was making fun of me about fluoride in the water.
Great start, Alex.
But he was for real. He wasn't an evil demon. I hadn't checked into his family. I later found out his wife works for the city of Austin in the water system. That's why he got really upset when I said sodium fluoride's causing bone cancer,
take this
attacking
guy
every
seriously?
organ. I emailed him the congressional hearings. I emailed him the report where 90+% of EPA scientists, as well as a bunch of FDA scientists, sent letters saying hundreds of chemicals are put in the water under the name fluoride, but fluoride itself doubles cancer risk. And he kind of called up and apologized. He said, "Okay, I'm shocked by this. I'm shocked by this." And then later I did research on him and found out his wife, works there. So that's probably why he's shocked by it. Because I bet she doesn't even know.
See what I mean? This is why I had to.
Even though she has a degree in wastewater management from the same prestigious university he went to.
And stupid.
And he doesn't even know this. So he was kind of shocked the next time we met, and he pulled that out of the story, that I'm this kook who thinks, look, it eats your frickin' bones. It attacks your damn brother. I'm sorry, I apologize. I just can't do this show anymore, okay? I can't do it anymore. They know the fluoride's killing us, all right? And I gotta watch shows on CBS on television where we're terrorists because we're warning people.
What?
You go to a Babies R Us or H-E-B food store, and they've got big aisles of fluoridated water for babies at 5 parts per million. 1 part per million causes a 20-point IQ reduction on average. Major studies. Massively increases cancer. Attacks every organ.
Yeah, I know.
Fucking stupid.
And I'm the kook, because I'm not supposed to get upset. See, they've trained everybody to be real calm in that NPR voice, or like the Rumpelstiltskin character in the new Shrek. Hi. They ought to give Rumpelstiltskin from that show an NPR show. You talk about chemtrails, you talk about poison in the water, you are a terrorist, okay? So drink your water, breathe your chemtrails, and shut up.
Yeah. That's all I have to say about fluoride. Because I think he just summed it up. What else can I say to that? How can I top that?
1 parts per million can do like a 20-point IQ.
There's no way to prove that. So, I mean, you could just say that someone got a certain IQ score, and then they got another one, and then look, it's because they drank the tap water.
You know what? My biological sciences IQ score may not be like super high, but my Marvel Comics IQ score is fucking through the roof. Okay, I mean, what are we talking here?
Yeah, I agree.
IQ is a stupid fucking intelligence quotient. Shove it up your ass. Whoever came up with that. Somebody white for other white people.
So, yeah. Yeah.
You know what else? Alex Jones. Douche. We got a little puppy coming in here.
Oh, we got a puppy?
Mm-hmm. We have a puppy in the bunker. Hi, puppy.
Cooper.
Hi, puppy. Hi. You're so cute, you're so tail wagging.
We like to call him Cooper the conspiracy scooper because he scoops all the conspiracies. He actually helped me research today.
He came to us and he said, hey, guys, in his cute little puppy voice, hey, guys, I will scoop up conspiracy theories if you scoop up my poop. And Jake was like, done. Sold.
This whole...
No, there is a cute damn puppy right there.
Yeah, him and I have been bonding over this whole social distancing. He's been hanging out with mom and dad a lot.
You know what's really funny, ladies and gentlemen? Like right now, if I was over here, licking Jake's face, and all up in his stuff, he'd be yelling at me like, "Stop derailing the show!" But like fucking dog does it, no problem at all.
You do not talk shit about my baby boy.
Fuck, man.
I will knock you out,
I'm
man.
just fucking saying it, okay?
Cooper is my
like
best
I haven't
friend
wanted to
of
come
all
over
time.
and sit in your lap and lick your face.
Just do it once, man. If that's really that's what you want.
Dude, once is cool, man. Just
sorry, yeah, I did derail the show. My bad.
No, that's okay. That's the nicest way this show has ever been derailed. All the other times are like, roar!
Okay, I'm sorry. At episode 9, and if you don't know that it is what this is, this train wreck, then what are you doing, right?
You down with OPP? Yeah, you know me.
So let's get to Bill Gates.
What the fuck?
What a transition.
So we're going from what?
Cooper. Oh, Cooper's actually loving up to you, Tyler.
Yes, he is, because he's a good puppy.
Yeah. Pooper, Scooper, Super Duper Cooper, King Koopa.
Does he want to come up here? Do you want to come up here, puppy? Huh?
We'll see, maybe. Just grab him. I don't know. It might be. Are we gonna do this show, or are you gonna play with my dog?
I don't know, but I think he just peed on me.
He peed outside. It might have just been the little
That's great.
thing on his wiener. Sometimes it catches pee, and then he licks it up.
Lick it up! Lick it up!
We're never going to finish the show. Bill Gates!
You're the one who wants to go to Bill Gates. Why are we going to Bill Gates?
Listen to this. Bill Gates.
Bill Gates.
God, I hate you.
Bill Gates. What about Bill Gates?
Bill Gates. Ever heard of him?
Never heard of him.
For some reason, Alex really hates Bill Gates. Maybe he's an Apple guy. I don't know. Alex hates Bill Gates so much that he even referred to him as a modern-day Stalin, or even little chicken neck.
He doesn't really know who Stalin really.
No, yeah. He also calls him a little chicken-necked bastard. And guess what? I got another clip.
Oh my God. Cool.
Just simpering control freaks in big nerd packs, taking everything over, ruling everything, becoming police officers with weapons, tasering us for fun. I've had it with control freaks and scum! You people are cancer! All right, I'm not in a good mood now. I start thinking about Bill Gates up there with that little chicken neck, hopping her now, a little murdering eugenicist. You know how he walked like a demonic elf. Hey, Bill Gates. I'm going to shoot you up with something that's going to kill you down in the hammer. How's a 30-year death from gut disease
This is all
sound,
because
African
he
children?
thinks that
Roll up the sleeves. I'm a little
Australia
chicken
is
neck
having
bastard, and nobody's got the will to see what I am.
Livestock. I can't remember the year.
But by
this
the
was a
way,
while
all
ago.
that NPR voice, all that Nelly stuff is Delphi technique training.
Oh, he's talking about methane emissions.
Well, he was trying to
That's
say
a serious
that there's
thing,
a
by the
fart
way, ladies and gentlemen.
that there's a fart tax.
No,
in
that's not. No.
Australia. Australia and other places, and he says that Bill Gates wants that to be here, and Bill Gates is a control freak. But his biggest thing against Bill Gates, and that was just to give you a taste of how much he hates him. But the real thing against Bill Gates, is that he was actually a eugenist, according to Alex. Alex thinks that Gates is sterilizing the third world population with his vaccinations. He thinks that IBM is actually a front and really is a eugenic trust. Quote, the expressed mission of creating a worldwide race-based system and funded Adolf Hitler. God, I can't even say it right. Cut.
doll.
We're going to cut that.
A doll Hitler. A Hitler doll?
He was saying that essentially they were Nazi eugenists. And because, everything goes back to Nazis. So let's get into the facts of this conspiracy because...
Yeah, the facts of this conspiracy. That's a good one.
I mean, where to begin with this? For one, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation gives scientists money to fund independent scientific research, and there's no proof that those grants go to eugenics.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a review board before they give the money to anybody, and it's an independent review board that is employed by the foundation. So in other words, even if Bill and Melinda Gates were like, dude, we need to do some eugenics, the board, which is independent, would be like, well, no, sorry. You hired us to tell you what to do with your money. So no.
Yeah, and
they have a mandate not to do shit.
And they have to report what they, they
Exactly.
give grants for, So there's
Fucking,
they have to do that in public.
Just because politicians don't follow the law doesn't mean other people don't. They might be reporting things like they're supposed to.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I can't help it. He's so freaking cute. I'm in love with my puppy, all right? That's what this social distancing is doing to me. So the foundation is actually doing the opposite than Alex claims, because why would Gates help develop vaccines that would stop the spread of disease in third world nations if he was funding a eugenics program? He would be wanting to wipe them out, not keep them alive.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. I don't think Alex understands how eugenics work. He doesn't clearly understand science because vaccines cause autism and the government is covering it. Because, of course, Alex is an anti-vaxxer.
Every fucking anti-vaxxer right now is like, man, as soon as that coronavirus vaccine comes out, you know it.
Yeah, you guys weren't going to use it in the
Although I will say this, to the people who, if the anti-vaxxers are right, who are trying to get, the vaccine, dude, this is the perfect time for you to get every one of us. Every
perfect time.
fucking one of us.
Prove us
dude.
wrong.
Right? Prove us wrong, not them. Either way, whichever way, it's a perfect time, man. It's a perfect time to prove themselves. Blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
it's all scary.
So funny.
We're all going to die.
We're all going to die!
So anyway,
well, we are really.
This should come as no surprise, but Alex is an anti-vaxxer.
No.
On one popular episode of his show, he had UK doctor Andrew Wakefield on his
That
show.
fucking cocksucker, dude.
You know
I
who
know
I'm-
who that fucker
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
That piece of shit started the whole thing.
Well,
and
well,
he got.
we'll get there, buddy. We'll get there. Wakefield had been a
See, I'm Alex Jones though. Oh, I'm angry. It's cancer. Now I'm not in a good mood now.
attack the globals. So Wakefield had been a force in the anti-vaxxer community, as you know. Given that he is a doctor, this was a chance for Alex to have some credibility. So Alex called, and these are all...
A discredited doctor.
We'll get to that. We'll get there. Alex called Wakefield admirable, a trailblazer, a hero, and a pioneer.
Was fuckface in there?
Oh, this gets even...
Because he's a fuckface.
This is where it really starts to get nasty with Alex. And we're not even into the worst parts.
Starts to? Okay.
Listen. Then, when Sesame Street announced they would introduce the puppet Julia, who is autistic, Alex believed that instead of the show trying to reach out to kids with autism and attempt to tell them they're okay, they're not, there's nothing wrong kind of thing. No, he thought it was... I think it needs to go on. He thought it was created to normalize vaccine-caused autism.
The whole autism thing, like, hey, people have autism or they don't. Honestly, I'm pretty sure, like, almost all of us do. If you really want to get down to it.
It's extremely offensive.
I'm
the
sa-
whole anti-vaxxer
No,
autism thing is
right.
offensive to me.
Oh, yeah,
because
absolutely.
I have someone that has autism in my family, and that's
What I'm saying
insulting.
is there's what is called a spectrum. An autistic spectrum or an autism spectrum. And I got to be really honest, in this day and age, don't all of us exhibit things that could be put on that spectrum these days? Honest, I do. I'm not saying I'm autistic, but I'm saying, like, why are we treating these people like they're different and, like, trying to, like,
instead of
put
just making them normal,
helping them to get into society?
Right.
I guarantee you most autism is people just being like, I can't deal with the fucking pace and everything coming at me in the world.
And
they just kind of shut down or whatever. There's nothing wrong with
my
that.
buddy Luke said the same thing when he got mad when he saw a segment on CNN. It was one of their like feel good stories, but it was about a violin player that had Down syndrome.
Okay.
And he was annoyed by that. I said, "What about it?" And he's just like, "Why do we need to say he has Down syndrome? Why can't it just be his talent for the violin?" Like he always feels like that can be exploitive.
That's true.
And so,
and to be really honest,
and so that goes with what you're saying. We should just normalize it for everybody and understand these are people in our society.
to be really honest, though, there is a very distinctive look that people have when they have Down syndrome. So to be honest, you could have.
That goes without saying. You don't need to say
could have
anything there.
absolutely said, "Hey, look at this this violin player. Isn't he awesome?" And honestly, I would have been like, "Wow, he has Down syndrome. That's cool." Which is the same thing we're kind of talking about, but. He could have mentioned the Down syndrome, and people watching
just like,
would
I don't
have
care.
known.
I don't care about anything other than what
doesn't
that
really-
person is doing
Right.
and what is the context of what's going on.
Can I ask,
That's
is
the
that
only thing
person
should
being
matter.
bullied, and are they happy? Okay, no, good. No. I mean, no to the first and yes to the
I know.
subject.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah. All right.
You're problematic.
Yeah.
You're gonna end my career.
You're dogmatic.
So anyway,
Wait.
here are the facts. Well, for starters, that
the
UK
facts,
doctor I mentioned earlier, Tyler knew who he was talking about.
Yeah.
It turns out he lied about his research. Lied about everything.
To make money for wasn't it his sister-in-law or some shit?
He said that he took extensive. He said Alex was completely wrong about this, and he had said all those things about Wakefield, and Wakefield had said, when asked about it later, quote, extensive financial ties to lawyers and families who were pursuing the manufacturers of the vaccine in the courts, and that most of his research participants
Was to help those cases.
were litigants. So
Yeah.
they were all in
He
on
was
it.
getting a
It
cut.
was lies.
He was getting paid to fucking lie on the stand and commit fucking perjury. You gotta. You want to talk about when I get Alex Jones like it's when people like this and people like who like hoarded all the hand sanitizer in
toilet
Tennessee
paper
and whatever. Like fuck you.
And tried to
guys.
sell it.
Yeah, like fuck you. You deserve it.
Yeah.
But the worst part is that when Wakefield was finally debunked, there was no story. The story of him being like anti-vaxxer and everything, that took off and just gained its own momentum. And then when it was finally proven through facts and journalism that he was literally doing this just for profit and lying, and that everything he said was a lie. Did you remember hearing about that? Because I didn't. I had to look that up.
No, I didn't know about that until I did the research for this episode.
Exactly. Yeah, that same thing until I looked it up myself.
No, and it sucks because it was damaging.
There was not enough of a media presence to say, "Hey, you know those anti-vaxxer idiots? Let me just tell you." Like all you had to do was say, "This is a lie."
But on the same on the same side of those things, the internet works both ways. If you want to go down those rabbit holes and listen to a guy like this, there's also extensive proof otherwise. And you can follow that rabbit hole. So, while I think I don't want to make,
look,
I don't want to make
measles
it
was
look,
gone at one point, idiots. Now
Tyler,
it's back.
I don't want to make it seem like I'm defending Alex because I'm not.
No,
but I'm saying it is also on the free will of someone to say this guy's insane, or I don't want to listen.
You
to
can
him.
choose to believe.
You can choose to listen to him.
Facts are not opinions,
but
so let's stop
I'm just
with that.
pointing out
but
why
you
he's
can
a con
choose
man.
to listen to one person or another. Yes,
And he's a liar.
And if you critically think, like we were talking, I think honestly, Jake, I don't know about you, but I think my biggest issue with society and why we kind of do this show is because not enough people critically think, which is why there are conspiracy theories, and why some conspiracy theories that are real are not believed by people.
Yeah. And
So
we'll get into some of those as well. That's
so
some
critically
people don't
think,
wanna
people.
about.
That's what we're trying to get you to do.
So, this is... So, Cooper just decided he really had to be a part of the show.
Yeah.
So he took out the
To
plug-in.
to a point where he said, "If I'm not going to get on the show, then fucking you ain't doing."
Nobody
the show.
is. He's going to unplug the board. But so we plugged it back in.
It was kind of like an abusive ex-boyfriend, almost.
He's a puppy.
If I
He's
can't
only like
have
9
you,
weeks old.
no one else can have you. You know.
Are you jealous of my dog?
No, I just decided.
I think you are.
decided to give your puppy a really dark backstory.
Everybody's jealous of our relationship. That's
He's a
just what it is.
stalker.
All right, let's get to one of the big ones. Yeah, the last one. I'm telling you, this is going to be a big one. We're talking Pizzagate.
Jesus Christ.
All right, so I want to learn all about Pizzagate.
Sure.
We're your guys.
Let's hear
On
about-
November 4th, 2016.
Let's not look at the Catholic Church at all. Let's look at a pizza place.
Yeah, this story is real stupid.
Christ Almighty.
Literally. So Reddit user, get this. This is how this guy's name is going to make you laugh because this guy kicked off this.
Is it
whole
Larry
bro-
Gunblade?
I wish Larry Gunblade did this.
Fuck yeah.
So this guy's Reddit name is Dumb Scribbly. He submitted a post to the
Scribbly?
Scribbly, yes. He made a post to the r/the Donald subreddit. It was titled
Jesus.
Comet Ping Pong Pizzagate Summary. The post dives into the WikiLeaks dump of Hillary Clinton's emails to her presidential campaign chair, John Podesta. The theory claims that the most elite in the political world would meet at this place and physically and sexually abuse children. I just want to be clear, this isn't related to the Jeffrey Epstein stuff, but
Who did not kill himself?
this is a separate thing. And as far as I know, this isn't the Franklin cover-up, which is a whole other thing, and it's awful, and I don't really want to cover it because I don't want to get too dark on the show. None of this is true,
Not yet.
by the way. None of this happened. None of this was true.
No.
It was debunked, almost instantly, but
Somebody's got it. Yeah.
here's why people can try to think there's credibility to it. The owner of Comet Ping Pong is good friends with a lot of people in D.C., and was a supporter of Hillary, but none of this happened. He never met Hillary, doesn't have children in his basement used for some demonic sexual rituals that Alex claims. And this is where I really get frustrated with this story, because this is one of the biggest problems with guys like Alex Jones. So this is
So he's actively hurting this business, and I guarantee on Small Business Saturday every holiday season, he's like, make sure you go out and support your small businesses. And it's like, well, you just totally ruined a fucking Washington pizzeria,
so
but never mind about that, dude.
this is what happens when someone like Alex
Shithead.
spews this hateful rhetoric.
Views is correct.
It's horrible.
It's bile.
And it's awful, and that's the thing.
Sprays out onto
He's
everybody.
he's fun to laugh at for a little bit, but then after a while, and you dig
realize he's
deeper,
serious.
and you realize the harm that he can cause. So, this is what happened: December 4th, 2016. Edgar Madison Welch of Salisbury, North Carolina, walked into Comet with a semi-automatic rifle. He fired 3 rounds before he was apprehended. Thankfully, no one was hurt or harmed or injured in any way. In addition to the AR-15 style rifle, police seized a Colt 38 caliber handgun, a shotgun, and a folding knife from Welch's car and person. Welch told the police that he planned to, quote, self-investigate the conspiracy theory and was charged with assault with a dangerous weapon, carrying a pistol without a license, unlawful discharge of a firearm, and carrying a rifle or shotgun outside the home or business. So on June 22nd, 2017, he was sentenced to 4 years in prison. This is where it stops being funny.
Oh, yeah.
Where, I still see people making memes. I still see people making jokes. I still do it sometimes. But this is where I really stopped thinking it was funny and started to realize this guy can be dangerous. And I think too many people
stop being polite and start being real.
And it's a complex thing with Alex, to be honest, because we're going to get into this in the next episode about his being deplatformed and things. While I completely understand it, I feel like...
Unfortunately, it's exactly what douchebags like him are looking
But they
to
weren't,
happen.
yeah. And we'll get really into that. We'll really
get into that
debate
next
that
week.
next episode. So that's where we're going to end part 2. We're ending it with Pizzagate.
Part D.
And... by the way, this is, again, why I stopped thinking it was funny, because it gets bile. He's talking about, sexual assault. He's talking about mutilation.
Folks, imagine you're a young child or you're a teenager or whatever, and you're like, you know what I really want to do is I really want to be a chef. I really want to make food, and I want to open my own restaurant and stuff. And you realize that you really make a solid fucking pizza. Like, people have told you, like, if you sold this pizza, people would buy it. And you work your ass off to get a space in downtown Washington, which probably not that cheap. Okay, and you work your ass off, and you work your way up, and you finally become like one of the premier places you finally made it. And one day you get to work, and a bunch of fucking Trump MAGA hat wearing shitheads are standing in front of your place, and nobody wants to come into your pizzeria anymore because some douchebag in Texas decided just out of the blue to repeat some bullshit. Wouldn't you be pissed? I'd be pissed.
Something unverified that was on a subreddit. There's no sourcing. There's no
think
proof.
about that guy who owns a pizzeria. That's what I'm saying.
He
we're
ruined
talking about.
someone's
That's
career.
what Jake's talking about. Is that it's not just the human cost is not just it's not funny anymore when you're hurting somebody who didn't do shit to you.
I hope everybody's ready next week because the third part of this story is going to be you unchained because you're going to go crazy because if you're this mad now. I'm not even getting into the details of the shit that happened with Sandy Hook.
As much as I'm just like, I get where you're coming from, but like, I'm trying to get the audience, also our listening audience, to get, like, to feel that, like, yeah, that's bullshit. Why the fuck would you do that? I didn't do anything to you. I didn't do anything to you, and now I'm fucked. Now my whole dream is fucked.
Yeah. Yeah, it's annoying, and it only gets worse. Sandy Hook, it will just... It's
that'd be like me publishing my book, and right when it's about to be a New York Times bestseller, Oprah comes out and goes, "This sucks." Sales plummet. I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
Shit. What did I do to you, Oprah? God damn it.
So, to wrap up this episode, I do want to mention that while on the campaign trail, Donald Trump did make an appearance on Alex's show. Even going so far as to say that his reputation is tremendous.
So wait.
This is keep in mind after Sandy Hook, and Alex is still spewing Sandy Hook nonsense that the president of the United States says stuff like that.
Was he the president?
It was on the campaign trail.
And did he show up or did he call?
It was a call. It
Okay,
was
so
a Skype.
he's never physically on his show.
No.
Okay, so that's plausible deniability for the Orange Cheeto then.
Yeah.
I never went down to the
Right, exactly.
actual studio. It was huge. That was the worst Donald Trump ever.
So, yeah, you may have noticed that I did leave out the one story, and that is Sandy Hook. And that whole saga is just so big. I'm again.
You think I'm pissed about Pizzagate?
That's what I've been saying. You're going to lose your mind.
That didn't cost lives. It almost did.
Yeah, it's going to get pretty dark next episode. So I'm still working out the kinks on whether or not if I'm going to make it just all Sandy Hook and then do the final piece, make it a 4-parter, or still
Bring
try
your
to do 3.
popcorn and your Kleenex and your a waste paper basket. You may be barfing. There may
Yeah.
be points where you're so disgusted you're like,
But you will damn sure have some water from my
thank God I have
fluoride
some
filtration system.
popcorn to get rid of that
My
puke taste.
InfoWars filter. So that'll do
Heavily
it.
drink next week. I
Yeah,
think.
this was still fun and light, but yeah, next week it's gonna get pretty dark. And
Like a senator's butthole.
with that, I think we should end the show. You gotta get your one super gross thing in per episode. That has been another episode of Tinfoil Radio. This is the Alex Jones Saga, Part 2, Dawn of the InfoWar. And I'm not going to tell you the title for next week.
Okay.
Actually, no, you know what it is, but they don't know.
Okay.
It'll be exciting.
I'll be excited.
You can get this show on all your favorite podcast
Yep.
platforms, Spotify, Apple,
Absolutely. Apple.
Google Podcasts, everywhere.
Stickity-dickity.com.
What? Stitcher? No, I don't think we're on Stitcher, actually. You can email us your own conspiracy theories, and we will read them on the show. Tinfoil Radio Podcast at gmail.com.
And also, like, if you just have, like, an idea, like, just a sentence, send that to us. Or even, bare outline. We will flesh it out for you.
or just one word, I don't care. JFK. We'll make our own.
If you heard me do mine, that was just off the cuff. And Jake and I sitting actually writing stuff, man, forget it.
Because we've done enough of
Be
these
really good.
shows. We know how conspiracies work. We'll do it. We'll do it.
Somebody send us, like, alligators, gay, and then, like, Catholicism, and we'll come up with a fucking...
Just what? Just like search words? Like,
No, just send us 3 words,
Keywords
and we'll go,
related?
you know what? We'll make that work.
all right. I mean, I don't know if anybody will do that.
Jesus rode
but-
his alligator down the Nile.
Will you let me finish?
Yeah. We're turds.
You I hate you. So anyway, thanks for listening. You can follow us on Twitter at tinfoil_radio. We kind of give out hints for funny gifs of what the episode's going to be about and updates on the show. And Tyler, you need to learn how to Twitter.
What?
You need to learn how to Twitter.
I have a Twitter account. It's
I'm going to let you run the Tinfoil Radio
made
account.
in Thailand.
It's a terrible name. Thanks so much for listening. And remember, if you've heard this, we're already dead.
You're dead.
No!
What is my problem?